Hi everyone, welcome back to Melting the Ice. Yes, welcome back to Melting the Ice, a place where all are welcome, a place where we aim to melt away our insecurities. We melt away the things that are holding us back and we emerge as better, happier versions of ourselves. I am so happy to have you here today. How are you doing? What's up? How's your day today? I hope you're having an amazing day. So yesterday I ended a series that was very dear to my heart called the Shireen's Anyway series, and that was a total of 27 episodes, and some episodes in the series had like two parts. So it ended yesterday, and that was a bit bittersweet for me. And today I wanted to kind of like still celebrate, I know, but I wanted to share my experience of growing life 25 days straight. So on June 12th, I went live. Usually I used to go live every Thursday. That was my schedule. Before I continue, I forgot to say, grab your drink. I'm drinking from my very cute mug, gifted to me by someone very dear to my heart, my sister in love. Grab your drink, your coffee, whatever you need. Let's get right into it, sis. So, where was I? I was saying that on June 12th, I decided to start showing up. On June 12th, that was a Thursday, I showed up. And normally my posting schedule was every Thursday. So every Thursday I'll post. And I missed a couple of Thursdays, I think, since I started going live in in May, I believe. So on June 12th, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to go live every single day until December 30th. And the challenge officially started on June 13th, right? But counting from June 12th, which is when I've been consistently going live every single day, today marks it 28 days. Today makes it 28 days. My stuttering is just stammering today, okay? Today makes it 28 days. And I wanted to just come here and share my experience of going live 25 days, what I've learned, what I've experienced, my lessons on consistency, on faith, on everything, my lessons on just what I've learned along the way of this journey, do. What I've learned around being seen. Because this whole series is honestly mostly about being seen and no longer tying your worthiness to visibility. So I wanted to come here today and share this journey how it's been like for me. Yes. So join me. I've rambled for a long time. Let's get right into the episode. So 25 days of posting. Yes. Was it challenging? Yes, it was challenging. And I feel like throughout this journey of 25 days, there are many days that were some days were more challenging than others. The first week I will say I was pushing through. The second week was so challenging for me. Like I think let me just be a bit more precise. Maybe around the 8 or the 9, I remember wanting to just quit. So I have multiple of those seasons where I think every 4 or 5 days, I'll just feel a strong urge to just quit. And I didn't quite know why. But the reason why was because despite everything I know, I still felt like something in me still wanted something to happen. I'll tell you what I desire. I desire people to speak to me. I desire people to comment, right? To comment to tell me how what I was sharing, how it was impacting them, how it was affecting them, like what was happening within them. And when I wasn't seeing that, that was very frustrating for me. That was very frustrating for me. That was very hard for me. I didn't know how to deal with that. So I prayed. I did the work that I have in my crown activation, which is a course where I learn like a course where you learn how to befriend the enemies in your mind pretty much. You feel like you always have those parts of you that are holding you back from that next level of yours, right? So I started doing the work in that course. It's pretty much where we return to the version of yourself, the part of you that wants to run away. We console that part. We pretty much hug that part. We console that part. We surrender that part to God, right? I'm telling you the tea right now. We surrender that part to God, and then we seal it like with a prayer meditation, and then we do what I call the golden bone effect. I'm not going to do much detail with that, but we pretty much distract the part of us from blocking us. Like, imagine that part of you is like a bulldog, right? And it's standing at the door. And that door is like the magical door. It's like the door to your next level. That door is the door to your next evolution. And oh my god, oh my god. People are crazy. Okay, let's continue. That was terrifying. Whew. So you have like a bulldog. Don't make fun of me. You have a dog standing right before that door. And that door is your protector. That door is a part of you that wants to protect you, that doesn't think you're strong enough to handle what's behind, what's after the door. Because that part of you thinks that if you come online and you put yourself out there, like I'm doing now, you make your face visible, the whole world can see you. The whole world can also drag you. The whole world can celebrate you. At the same time, the whole world can also drag you. And that part of you just wants to say, you know what? This doesn't feel safe. How about I just have her quit everything? How about I just have her not even do this thing? I convince her with ideas and thoughts to tell her that this whole thing was absolutely useless. I see there's someone here. Hello. So that part of you, the false self, is like the bulldog that's standing in front of your door, and the door is like the next level to the best version of yourself. So what we're doing, what I call the golden bone effect, is that you distract this dog that is like protecting that sacred dog to your next level with what I call a golden bone. Not like an idea, but you ask you this like a spiritual question that's going to try and answer. And while it's doing that, it's distracted. You can now get to the door. You can do the thing that you want to do, or what I call you can reign. So during this period of 25 days, I had many days I wanted to quit. And I had to keep like doing this process of nurturing myself, or returning to who I really was, or returning to the parts of me that were afraid I couldn't do this. Comfort those parts of me, it looked different every single day. But the main point was I had to surrender those parts to God and just like let go. And then I had to still do the meditation. Then I had to do the golden bone effect, which was pretty much distracting this bulldog out here so I could get through the door. And for me, getting through this door meant showing up on the life. For me, getting through this door meant that despite how much this bulldog was scaring me, I still had to cross this door, and I still had to come online. I still had to come on live despite how terrified I was, despite how I just felt like everything I was sharing was absolutely pointless. And when those voices, the bulldog was trying to convince me that I am wasting my time, trying to convince me that everything I'm doing is pointless, that was like something huge that I was experiencing during this period of 28 days. I just felt like it was pointless because I just did not have someone telling me that what I was sharing was benefiting them, even though I know this stuff, I'm still a person, right? And there was this one day when the energy just hit me so hard. That was like last week. And that day I spent the whole day literally praying and surrendering and just like doing this exercise. It's not the whole day, but on and off. And I still came that day. And that day, I when I looked on my account, I think I want to sneeze, excuse me. Oh, never mind. When I looked on my account, I actually saw that, I lost followers. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But it actually made me excited because I did the work all throughout the day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up because I'm not going to let this bulldog here win. I'm not going to shame the bulldog because this bulldog just thinks that facing the world is dangerous. Me coming out here and sharing my voice could potentially be the death of me. So I can't blame that part of me. But at the same time, me showing up every single day and me still being safe is me healing in real time and showing that part of me that actually it's not a war zone. Actually, I can do it and I can still be fine. So that was what I had to learn throughout this period. I had to learn that despite how you feel, despite the fears that you have, when you decide that you're going to do something, you have to expect you have to expect that part of you is going to act out. You have to expect that part of you is going to lash out. It's going to try to protect you. It's going to try to like put these things around your neck to try to hold you back and restrain you. And that's absolutely natural and normal. So if you're going to embark on a journey of yours, of consistency, of trying something, of evolving, you're going to expect that this to happen. You're going to expect that not just one bulldog, multiple ones are going to try to leash you and keep you in your place. And every single day, you're going to decide, no, I understand you want to protect me. You're going to return to those parts and be compassionate with them. You're going to return them to God. You're going to do meditation. In my crown activation, I really go through that in depth and I show you how to do it, how I do it. And by the way, I'll be adding a new section to crown activation, I believe this week or next week. So this is something that has helped me this week, something new that helped me this week. So imagine that you have multiple of those bulldogs that are trying to literally, that are guarding this door or multiple doors you want to cross. And the challenge is not to kill the bulldogs. I feel like most of us feel like we have to fight the bulldog. We have to kill them. We have to attack it. We have to grab a stick. And the more you try to hit them with a stick, the more angry they become. And then the less likely you are to cross that door, which is when we experience self sabotage, right? You're wondering, why am I always self sabotaging? Why am I always like saying I want something and I don't do the thing I say I'm going to do? In Romans 8, sorry, in Romans 7, I don't know the exact section verse. I think Romans 7 verse 14 or 15. It says that the thing I don't want to do that I do, the thing I want to do I don't do. What is happening? And they call it sin. And in my course, I break it down so much in a way that you no longer hold yourself to this. You no longer hold shame in your body. You can let God understand that this part of you that doesn't want you to make it, to become consistent, to become the thing you want to become, it's not because it hates you. It's because literally it believes that all these bulldogs, these are my dogs, don't shame me. All these bulldogs here believe that if you cross this door, something terrible is gonna happen to you. And the only way you can show them that nothing's gonna happen to you is by, first of all, because they look scary. That's why you're terrified. You're so scared because they're over here, they're growling at you, and they look like they're gonna bite you and end you because they want to tell you the mean business. They want to do everything to keep you from this door. And I feel like we have many of these doors in our lives though. It could be our education. And for me, that door has also been my education for me. I'm being very vulnerable right now. I wasn't even expecting to say this. But for me, that's in how that door has manifested. For me, it's also been my stutter. For me, it's been being consistent online. And I feel like the things that mean the most to us, the things that will have the most impact in our lives, are the things that these doors are guarding so closely. Depending on your trauma, depending on your childhood, depending on your limitations. So the faster you can get to befriend these dogs, and you can turn them into puppies. You can transform these bulldogs that are scary, that want to like pounce at you. You can transform them into little puppies that are like so cute and so happy, that are cheering you on. They can become your little tooth fairies. Okay, wouldn't it be nice if when you came here, these dogs were like so cute? They were giving you cute licks, and they were supporting you. They were like, so they were telling you can do this. They were like rolling a red carpet for you, of course. They were encouraging you. They were even opening the door for you and saying, "Cross, you can do this. You can go through this door." How nice would it be though? If that could happen, would there be a need for self-sabotage? If that could happen, would anybody run away? Will anybody abandon what they were born to do? I doubt those things will happen. I doubt those things will happen, right? And every single day it gets better. Every single day also gets worse in a way because as you keep going higher, the pressure becomes a bit more because then the higher you go, the more afraid you can be of falling, right? If you don't ground yourself in what really matters. And throughout this series, the Shireen's Anyway series that ended yesterday, we really spoke about the importance of grounding ourselves in the God's view and not the world's view. The God's view tells you that consistency is the most important thing. Being aligned with your purpose is the most important thing. Being compassionate to yourself through it all is the most important thing. And like I shared yesterday in the last episode, yes, I shared that you have to pick a predominant emotion that you want to rule your life. Yes, I have a stutter. When I say stutter, you know what's so funny is that um the comment not the comments, how do you call it, the subtitles, right? It spells it as stutter, like STE. I'm saying stutter. Should I take a pronunciation class? I'm saying stutter. That was random. But yeah, like those parts are not going to let you go. And that's what I was saying, that you have to pick a predominant emotion to rule your life, right? And for me, I was saying that I choose joy. That emotion that you choose is going to make it so much better for you. By the way, every episode of the Shireen's anyways, from the first episode to the last episode, I will try my best to, let me not say I will try. I I need to put it in a playlist. That way you guys can, whenever you feel like you want to reign, no matter what, you want to reign over the Bulldogs, you want to find a way to get past this door, have more fun, no longer be tied to validation. That playlist is absolutely gold. You literally see me going through fears, being terrified, being so like shaking my boots to becoming a bit more confident. And there are days when you see me become more confident. There are days when I come back and I'm still a bit shaking. And that's part of the real journey, though. I think I'm so grateful that I've been able to put this out for the world to see growth in real time. And I'm not done yet because I'm gonna go into December 30th. The 31st, we're having a zero tea party to celebrate the zero, to celebrate beginnings and the beauties of them, the beauty of zero, how it means, how it holds what was, what is, and what will ever be. It holds the entire universe. I wanted to celebrate that, celebrate everyone who's choosing to show up for themselves. And maybe from then I'll tell you guys my next vision for the year. Yeah. So the whole series is honestly to help guide you to no longer believe the lies that are holding you back, to let go of those lies, to be able to reign despite visibility. If you have a business, if you have a podcast, if you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is that you are, I believe that that's a part of us that want to be seen for the wrong reasons, that want to be seen based in the worldview, that want to be seen and think that the more we do, the more we give value to people, the more we give to others, like the more worthy we are. We tie our worthiness to what we can do. We tie our worthiness and our importance to what we look like. We tie our worthiness to our results, right? And I always say this all throughout this season, maybe not all throughout, but in the big chunk of it, I said you have to marry the process. And who do you have to divorce? I wanted to start drafting your divorce papers, like drafted today, divorce papers for who? The outcome. Divorce the outcome, sis. Let me take a sip of water. Why am I so thirsty today? So cute. So cute. So marry the process and divorce the outcome. That's another thing that I had to learn throughout this journey, right? And I also had to learn that we all have our own style of being, right? You can't be like another person. Of course, you can learn from others, you can read books, but make sure that you remember your core essence. And throughout this journey, at some point, I felt like I had to give all this value. And giving value is a beautiful thing. But I felt like I had to become something else to give value. I felt like I had to change. I felt like I was so like conscious, like, if I don't give value, I'm worthless. And that was not true because me being here and being so present, and me sharing from my heart, and me downloading from God, and me sharing and birthing and just being here with all of you is me giving value, because everything I've given in this series is absolutely priceless. It's gold. I've shared things that aren't even in my courses. I shared things that literally came from my heart, things I held deep inside. I've shared them here because I know that whether it's today, tomorrow, in 1,000 years, this will help someone. This will encourage a woman, any woman, whatever stage she might be in, to believe that she was actually born to reign no matter what. By the way, now that we're having so much fun because the series is done and we're gonna just like show up every single day and share and be human and spread my light and we're gonna party and have fun together. Tomorrow, I think I want to talk about my 4-step process. So if you want to know my 4-step process of empresshood, because I believe every woman is an empress, tomorrow I want to have fun with that and just like dive into that and just download and share with all of you, because why not? So I think that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. If I don't do it, remind me to do it at some point because I always have ideas. So yeah, sis. This series was all about this. All about winning no matter what. Even when you lose your train of thought because you're too excited. All about being you. Being is the most important thing. Being. You can learn all the things, don't lose yourself in those things. Take those things, apply them, and be very intentional to see how you're feeling in your body. Sometimes you're feeling those ways because your protectors, where are they? These are dogs, very ugly dogs I've grown. These are dogs are very triggered, and that they're gonna do everything to get you to stop that thing. So sometimes your trigger is actually a sign for you to keep going. Now you're thinking, how do I know to keep going when I'm triggered, or how do I know if it's my dogs that are triggered because I actually have to cross that threshold, or how do I know when it's actually going against my core essence? I think the way you know is because deep inside you will feel it. You will feel that it just feels wrong. Like even when the bulldogs are upset, Even when you do something that will upset them, that scares you, afterwards you feel a strange satisfaction in your body. That's why for this journey of being an empress and reigning no matter what, and just rising above all your limitations, you have to be very intentional and you have to be very present in your body and present into how you feel all throughout the journey. If you feel like you feel a draining sensation in your body, you feel like you're drained, okay, I think it means that maybe you're going against your core essence. If you go, like the only thing that's scary should be getting to distract these bulldogs, transform them into puppies. Takes time, right? Transform them into puppies, which we do in crown activation down below if you feel invited in your heart. But when you're able to cross this door, that's the most difficult thing is you even to get close to the door, because these guys here will make sure that you don't even get close to this point. They will keep you all the way. What? They will keep you all the way here. Let me do this. They'll they will like keep you all the way here. They'll keep you all the way here. They won't even let you get close to this door. They'll just be barking, barking, barking until you retreat completely. And that is the reason why so many people in the world, so many of us in the world, never achieve our purpose, never achieve the things we're born to do. Because despite how much success we might have in one area, area B, area C, um, business, I don't know, friendship, there's that one area that the bulldogs have kept you out here because it's deeply tied. Should we make a thumbnail cute? Okay, that's fine. Because it's deeply tied to your trauma. It's deeply tied to something, to a false core identity you've made in your life. A false core identity. What is a false core identity? It's what they call sin in the Bible. It's a false self. It's a part of you that has separated because something happened to you that you couldn't comprehend as a child or as a young adult. And then there was a separation within your being that became a false self because that part of you was no longer grounded in the God's view, was no longer connected and linked to God. That part of you got separated and turned into a bulldog over here to protect you, thinking that if that happens, then you'll be safe forever. Yes, that was necessary. That separation happened to keep you safe, to keep you alive, to keep you from surviving. Because whatever happened, however small it or big it might be, there's no such thing as a small trauma, because something small as, I don't know, your mother leaving without saying bye to you when you were a child can be so traumatic that you hold those parts within you and you have no idea how that's still holding you back. Maybe you think, oh, she didn't say bye to me because I wasn't worth it. Maybe you think she didn't kiss me goodbye because I'm not lovable. This doesn't very silly to your adult brain, but to your child's brain, that is very legitimate. And that child within you that has separated, and part of you as an a bulldog is thinking now nobody's gonna hurt her. When in that moment as a child, that separation was good because it kept you alive, it kept you from breaking down, from having a mental breakdown, and no longer being a part of society. That was good in that moment. But now we get to be integrated, and integration means that you're taking that part and you're surrendering that part to God. And you have to get that part has to give his free will, like you have to surrender that part to God without forcing it, without trying to fight it, right? That part has to be gently turned to go. And what I've learned, guys, my beautiful sisters, what I've learned is that that part actually wants to be held. And it might want to be held in different ways, which is the reason why I want to add a new section to cry activation. Because this week myself, I had a deep breakthrough. I just broke down crying because I was doing different things to hold different parts of myself. I was praying, I was meditating, I was doing the things. And I kind of realized there was something simple that I had to do. I just had to be present with myself. That's it. I'm going to go deeper in my course, but I just had to be present with myself. I had to just hold myself in that moment without trying to fix it, right? Because even just praying over praying is not fixing, yes, but it depends on how you're approaching it, because those parts are so smart. If you're approaching praying, you're approaching different work to think that this will fix that part, then even though the tool itself is natural, the tool itself is healthy, but the way you're approaching it in a way that is not going to create the healing that you seek. I'll say it again. The tool itself is healthy. The prayer itself is healthy. The surrendering to God itself is healthy. It's amazing. But the way you're approaching it, your perspective of what you think that tool will do for you instantly is what is creating the block. because that part doesn't want to feel like any sort of way to be fixed. Even though prayer is not supposed to be supposed to surrender, right? Because we are pushing prayer in a very like soldier way. We're gonna pray, we're gonna fix it, we're gonna do this thing like this. That part might actually rebel and actually kick you out, kick you all the way out. All the way out and say, get out, sis. You know, well, no longer welcome here. And then it makes things very difficult. Am I rambling? Tell me. I hope this is, if you find anything I'm saying helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with anyone who feels like they need to be consistent in one area of their life, who feel like there's not one place of their life where they feel beaten, they feel defeated, they feel like they're just giving up completely. I felt that in my studying, in my own education journey, and these things were so hard for me to mention before because I felt deep shame around them. Something else I've learned on this journey, this 28-day now journey, is that vulnerability, vulnerability, vulnerability sincerely will heal you beyond belief. If you know how to be vulnerable in a way, you can be vulnerable and still be in your power. Because you are vulnerable, you're not asking to be fixed. You're vulnerable because you know that it's in that vulnerability that God can meet you. God can even meet me here right now on my channel when I'm opening my heart to all of you. God can also meet you in that moment. And that's when you feel a heart to heart connection, right? If you do, sis, let me know down below. Comment, subscribe, like, and I invite you in all my invitations down below if you feel the pull, okay? So I feel like vulnerability genuinely leads to healing. When you can open your heart, and it's so tricky because we think we have to protect ourselves. We think that the things that we've made mistakes on, the things that we've messed up on, make us bad people. Make us bad people. And then when we make, let's say for example, when we binge on the ice cream, we binge on the dramas, we avoid the things we know we're supposed to face, and then we call ourselves bad. What we're really doing is that we're calling that part of ourselves the bulldog that already feels so beaten down, the bulldog that is exhausted of protecting you. But it feels like it's all it's known to do because it's afraid you're going to crush it. It's not afraid of you being crushed. It's protecting the most tender parts of you. It's protecting your next level. It's holding you back because it feels like you can't handle it, right? When you call yourself bad, when you make a mistake, you're actually calling the most tender parts of you bad. The parts of you that have risked everything to keep you here, to bring you here to where you are today. So think about it next time, though. Yesterday I mentioned that you have to pick a predominant emotion for your life, meaning that when you see your reality, when you see how things are, you see your numbers, you see your subscribers, you see how your channel is doing. Do not decide on that feeling from your thoughts, right? Decide on the feeling that will rule your life when you're clear-minded. When you're praying in the morning, I really ask God which feeling or which three feelings you want to rule your life predominantly. And then, despite what happens in your life, draw from those feelings, right? This Bible verse, I think it's Ephesians, it says, rejoice in the Lord, always rejoice. Okay, rejoice in the Lord. Why didn't they say rejoice in the world? Rejoice in your growth, rejoice in your numbers, rejoice in your bank account, rejoice in how much. What was that? My stammering. Oh, that was so funny. Rejoice in Rejoice in how much others actually like you. But no, it says to rejoice in the Lord. And I've mentioned this before, all throughout this journey. Something I found is that what you're grounded in affects the way you feel. When you rejoice in the Lord, you ground yourself in the God's view. When you rejoice in your numbers, or you find sorrow from your numbers, you're grounding yourself in the world view. And the world view thrives on validation. The world view thrives on validation, comparison, right? On, oh, I'm waiting because this is happening. God's view thrives on you showing up because your appointment, your anointing is all the proof that you need. And you have to trust that even if you're not seeing the results you want, you showing up every single day, you having the conviction. Oh my god, that's scary. Oh, you having the conviction that you heard from God, you knowing that you heard from God, you showing up every single day, you're making the decision that you will no longer be affected by the world's view. You're making the decision that actually the predominant emotion in my life is joy. So I'm not gonna feel this right now. No bulldog, no. I'm gonna throw you a golden bone. where you're gonna go and find that, and then we're gonna cross through the door, right? You decided all those things, your conviction, your decision, your consistency, rejoicing in the Lord, rejoicing in what you can't see, rejoicing in the love you have in your life, rejoicing in what you have, in your health, in your beautiful smile, right? Yes. And all of those things. Okay, you can see your smile, but the joy you feel from your smile, you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Rejoicing in all of those things, actually, excuse me, will begin to melt away the things that you can actually see, the things, your numbers, your income that feel frozen. You showing up is melting those things. That's why I call my channel, my space, my channel, melting the ice, because we melt away that ice. The ice might not be melting, might not seem to be melting on the outside, but trust me, it's melting on the inside. All you have to do is to keep applying the heat, and the heat is your consistency, the heat is your conviction, the heat is you deciding that my predominant emotion is drive, is driving my emotion. It's consistent. Sorry, it's joy. My predominant action is showing up. You decide those things beforehand. Beforehand, you decide those things. What happens is that over time, the ice has to melt. The ice will melt if you keep showing up, because showing up is the heat. Over time, that fire becomes so strong. Think about trying to melt a huge iceberg as big as, I don't even know, a whole city, and you just have a little lighter. You have a lighter. The lighter is good, right? And if you notice, the lighter is burning, so it's melting a chunk of that ice. When you look at the ice, the big picture of the ice, it looks like nothing is happening. It looks like nothing is happening, but over time, as you show up, that fire becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and the iceberg will just have to melt. And when that melts, you emerge from those waters, like I always say, as the best, happiest version of yourself. And then you emerge some more, because life is a journey, a constant evolution of you awakening into deeper layers of yourself, into deeper places you didn't even know existed within your psyche, right? But know that if it's not working out the way you want it to work out, just know that ice takes time to melt. Think to yourself, I have to increase my heat. Think to yourself, thank you God. All I have to do now is to increase my heat. That's one of the biggest things I've personally learned in this journey. I see there's someone here. Hi. The biggest thing I've honestly learned is that if it's not looking like it's working out, you have to tell yourself that all you have to do is increase the heat. The heat is your consistency. Okay. Ice takes time to melt. And the ice is, I don't know, the things that are frozen in your life right now. Maybe it's your numbers, maybe it's your income, and it feels like you're doing all these things, it's not working. All you have to do is to be applying consistent heat. Over time, it has to melt. No matter how long it takes, it has to melt. When you become the person that is no longer obsessing as to how like how the iceberg looks. Oh my god, it's not melting, nothing is happening. When you focus on the fact that actually my anointing is in showing up every single day, regardless of how it's looking like. Can I find joy in this? Which is why yesterday I encouraged you to pick a predominant emotion for your life. Mine is joy. If you can find joy in those moments when you just have a lighter and trying to melt a huge iceberg, you can enjoy it, trusting that as you learn to use that lighter, your flame and your fire will become bigger. As your fire becomes bigger, more stuff is going to melt over time, right? But if you choose to only decide that when everything melts, when everything is perfect, then I'm going to be happy, then what you're doing is that you're marrying the outcome. And I've mentioned before that you have to divorce the outcome, right? So decide to divorce the outcome. Something else I've honestly learned on this journey, and I've shared earlier in this video too. But those are the things, my stammer is coming up. Those are the things I've learned in this journey. I see there's someone here. Do you have any questions for me on this topic? I'm listening. Okay, I'm going to wait. So those are some of the things I've personally learned on this journey, is that consistency is consistency should not be based on external things. I'm going to use an example right now. Right now, as I was talking, you heard me saying, hi, there's someone here. And that person asked a question. I was like, hey, do you have any questions for me? And that person left the chat, right? That could have made me feel demoralized, but you just saw how I didn't collapse. I smiled. I stood a bit taller because I understand that this too shall pass. This is okay. Okay, this is perfectly fine. It doesn't mean anything about my worthiness. It doesn't mean anything about it's like it's no hard feelings, right? It's no hard feelings. I'd have loved to hear from the person, but it's okay too because I get to be here. I get to have a platform. I get to speak to you who is watching me right now, whether you're watching me today, tomorrow, or in 1,000 years. I'm so honored that I get to be with you, even though it's not in real time. I'm so honored that still we get to be in this century, 21st century, where you can watch me, you can be with me in this moment, and you can learn something from my 25 days, my 28 days now, sorry, of being consistent every single day. And I can't wait to see what the next 25 days is going to be like, of me showing up, what that's going to become, like who I'm going to become, because I become so confident in this journey, in understanding that my vulnerability is actually my superpower, in learning that actually, yes, I'm amazing. Yes, you are amazing too. So all things that I've learned in this journey. Like I said, this series need to be in a playlist of its own. That way you can just binge watch this series and you can learn to read anyways. This series taught me that regardless of how scary I am of my bulldogs that are trying to guide me from my door, I can walk through this door. Yes, the bulldog might try to bite you, which is why you have to give them a golden bone. You give them a question. Okay. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy today. And when you do that, you're giving them a golden bone. That's what I call it. That's when I like distract them. I go deeper into that, and I give you a lot of examples in crown activation down below. But if you feel like you've always wanted to just be able to do something without constantly it feeling like a struggle, you just feel like you're ready to move through things without having to question yourself 1,000 times. You're ready to even do the thing even when you question yourself, right? You feel like you're ready to embody everything you were born to be. You feel like you're ready to honestly make your mental enemies your allies. You don't want to fight anymore. You feel there's a better way. You feel that there has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way to approach this whole thing, right? Which is why in crown activation, I literally teach you how to befriend your bulldogs, how to turn these bulldogs into little puppies that have cute little eyes that cheer you on. How nice would it be if you could just walk out here and had a red carpet right here? If you had the steps to turn this into a red carpet, if you had the steps to enjoy even the most scary situation, if you could laugh into even the most scary situations, right? How nice would that be? How nice would that be? Is that something you think you'd be interested in doing? Is that a life you think you can handle, you desire? Because if you do desire that, I think crown activation is just for you. Where you crown yourself. And crown might sound very woo-woo, but it's not. Because a crown is your power. It's you saying that you're no longer bowing down to the protectors. You're no longer bowing down to things that are holding you back. You're seeing the fears and you're no longer bowing down to them and saying, please, and hiding. You're standing tall. And you're saying, you know what? I can actually handle this because I have steps and I have support. I have God. And now I have crown activation. If you feel the pull in your heart, now I have crown activation. Now I can actually befriend my protectors. Now I can actually really release the shame of all the mistakes I've made in my life. All the things I've done that I felt I didn't have to do. And I'm wondering, why did I do those things? You know, that guilt you feel, that you're afraid, and if anybody knows you're going to be screwed for life, trust me, you have to let that go. That's why I created crown activation for you, to be able to let go of those parts because you don't have to carry this burden anymore. You can let God help you carry this burden. And crown activation is like it's like a stepping stone. It's like a piece block, a chunk to help you step on, so you don't feel alone on this journey. So you can actually walk this journey with more confidence, with more peace, with more inner peace, with more conviction and knowledge that everything is going to be okay because everything is okay. So if you're ready for that and you feel the pull in your heart, you will know it's for you. I want you have to like you will know it's for you because I know when I'm in a space and I know something is for me, I just know it's for me. I just know it's for me. What is the price of constantly fighting fighting with these parts of you, of constantly insulting and putting yourself down, of constantly this battle of feeling like life is a battle. When it gets to be a journey of neutrality where you get to evolve and become better every single day and also enjoy it. But you feel like every single day you're fighting with parts of yourself. You're fighting what people call their inner demons. I shared earlier that vulnerability leads to healing. When you take this course, you crack a level of vulnerability you didn't even know you needed to crack open. By the way, I have a version of this course that's also free. It's called Crown Code. It's 11 days where you shed the lies. The lies that are holding you back. The lies that these protectors want you to believe. Imagine if you knew the lies these things are putting in your head. These things all day, the bulldogs are working hard, putting false ideas in your head. What if you could just block that? What if you could see them as lies? Fine. You see them as lies and you're like, okay, this is not the truth. Imagine what that will do for you. Imagine if you could wake up every single day and you can know that this is a lie, this is the truth. If you could tell the difference subconsciously, how would life be like for you? Can you wait any longer? Can you continue to live life without that knowledge, without that awareness? What do you feel? I'm so happy that I get to be here and I get to contribute to making the world a better place because I feel like I was born to bring clarity to others. I'm so grateful that I'm in my own little way, I'm shining a light by helping people no longer have to fight within themselves, to find more inner peace. And as I get better, I already have so many other courses of idea of courses that I want to share with all of you. But I'm just learning to allow my energy to land first, to share what God has given me, to steward what was actually given to me. My stamina is coming out, yeah. To steward what was actually given to me, right? In these 25 days, before I started the journey, before this whole okay, are you done? Before this whole journey started, I just felt like, creating a course and charging boldly was was like all of it because that's what I created before I came here. That was my first course called Zero Views Fully Crowned, really teaching you how to divorce the idea that your views are tied to your worth as a person. If you want to divorce it on a very deep layer and you want it to be fun, that's what it's actually all about. And then on this journey, I created crown activation and crown codes to my free offer. Link is down below. If you feel called, is down below. I learned that actually activating your crown is the first step. Remembering who you are helps you step into any container, any course as a better version of yourself. When you go into a course and you're no longer begging and you're aware, and these guys are not your friends, and you no longer believe the lies that are telling you, crowned codes, you can show up in any course and you can get more from it. Because if you show up in in a space and you've like you the depth of your inner work, how many crowns you're wearing will determine how much you can extract from that. A person that has done that knows who they are, that has befriended this guy, is going to step into zero views fully crowned, my course on just like charging boldly for your work, for your worth, and laughing your way through it, and reigning as the empress you were born to be, and a bunch of other juicy and fun stuff in there too. When you learn who you are and crowning yourself, when you get in there, you're gonna get more from it. When you take crown activation, you go into any other course from any other person, you will leave there more activated. You will leave there more empowered because you're not going there as a beggar. You're not going there disempowered. You've already expanded in a way that can never be taken away from you. Because now the secret shame, that deep seated shame you were carrying inside of you, you found the relief you were looking for. Okay, so that was a video on my 25 days on YouTube, going live every single day on YouTube. 28 days now, actually. Yes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you learn more. If you feel like you learned anything from this, like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you again tomorrow. More happier, more open, more excited, better, 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 better. Right now, it's late, but I'm going to go for a quick walk just around my neighborhood. I'm going to record crown codes and I'm going to give you a post for the day because I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you to all of you. Those who know me, those who don't know me, for allowing me to have this platform to speak to you. I'm so grateful that I have this space that belongs to me where I can just be me. Thank you for watching. I genuinely mean that. Share with anyone who you think needs consistency, who you think needs anything I shared here today, who stutters, who wants to let it go, who has fear, who wants to let it go. I shared a lot here today, and I hope it will be helpful for you in your next journey. Bye. Tomorrow I'm talking about the Empress journey, so I'm doing it. Bye. I love you so much. Mwah. Okay.